Go.
Okay, let me see. Hold on. How are you, sir?
Good. How's it going?
Great, great, great.
Finishing up my archery class, so I was like, "Oh crap, I gotta get on here."
Well, you remember I was going to send it to you 15 minutes early, so I kind of figured you still in class, but I just wanted to let you know that it was here. So anyway, Tangsoo.
Talk to sir. How goes
Yes,
it?
sir. So, give everybody your name and what you do.
I'm Chris Rockhold, and I own Rockhold Karate, and been doing Tangsoo for 30 years now, and I've had my business since 2007. So yeah, that's what I do. Got involved in
So,
swords along the way, and then or switched from one style of Korean sword to another, and they included Korean archery. And then I got all excited about doing archery and became a coach for USA Archery. They're in charge of the U.S. Olympic team, and so now I do that too.
wow, amazing, amazing. That's inspiration. So, what
Never
made
bored.
you get into martial arts?
Do it.
What made you get into martial arts?
Kung Fu theater. way way
Come-
back, way back in early days of cable, they had Sunday. They'd have Kung Fu theater on, so that got my interest going, and it was awesome. And then my parents put me in Taekwondo. Did that for a little bit. Didn't like it. The instructor, I guess, really, and then did the high school thing, and then later on got back into it in college, and kind of stuck with it since.
Nice, nice. 'Cause, I mean, I've been studying Tangsoo for a minute myself. I studied here in Detroit, PKC Detroit. A
Oh,
wonderful
nice.
instructor.
How long
Yes.
you been doing?
So, well, I've been doing martial arts for a while, but Tangsoo really caught my eye.
Yeah.
And, like you said, Taekwondo, some things was different, where Tangsoo was a lot more different than that. and we have
Yeah.
a lot of to look forward to.
Right.
But
Yeah.
tell us more about my teaching. So, being a practitioner of Tangsoo, um, what was your inspirations?
When I got into it, when I started, once I found the school, I went to a lot of different schools to check out. Just, there's a variety out there. And when I came into the Tangsoo school, the instructor really broke stuff down, and it wasn't just like do what I do and that was it. It was he would just, you know, explain how it worked, the how, what, when, and why, and all that stuff. So that really got me. And the way I went and watched for like a week. So I'd come in whenever I could and just to check it out, see how he's interacting with students and all that. And it made a big difference to me. And I was like, okay, because some places were just like, monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. And they, it was just a mimicking. There was no questioning, no understanding, no, and I like to know how things work.
Right, right,
Like, why
right.
are we
I'm with
doing
you.
what we're doing? What's the purpose behind this? Am I going to get hurt doing this?
Right.
But he
Yeah,
would go
I'm
over
definitely with
all the, why it works and, how to properly do it and all that thing. So it's kind of where that kind of set the standard for me from there on. So it was just hit the ground running, and I just was a sponge when it came to learning it. And I still am. I
you. Yeah,
still a student first, and try
correct,
to be the best student
correct.
and be the best teacher for my students. So I'm always learning
Absolutely.
something.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's a beautiful thing there. So, what can you tell people that want to learn martial arts or want to get into martial arts or study Tang Soo Do?
I tell them ask questions. Anywhere you go, just don't be afraid to ask the instructor questions. And if they're not receptive to that, that's probably a flag right there. Like, just they should be able to answer those questions, and how they answer that question is important just as much as them answering it. It's like, are they being honest, or are they just blowing smoke? You know, that kind
Right.
of thing. So,
Because I have some parents come to me and tell me that dad went to other martial arts schools and they really didn't enjoy it because either the kids were sitting around doing nothing, just
uh,
watching,
uh,
or their teacher has some type of attitude. I don't know, but that's what they told me.
or it's just
But
chaos.
overall, right, right. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But I feel comfortable where I'm at. And I'm sure you feel comfortable where you at because you, like I said, you're a master instructor and you try to make your school better and greater,
yeah,
just as well as we are too as well. Um, I mean, me, I love Tang Soo Do. It's my passion. It's my
yeah.
blood.
It is. It is. I feel that for sure. So,
Yes. So, do you guys do different tournaments like at sports arenas?
we have some. There's a lot of different local tournaments. I've gone to some of these open ones, and it's like a box of chaos, and it's some of them were not
I don't
appealing at
mean
all.
for
And
I don't mean for school
oh,
tournaments. I mean, arena type things like basketball, hockey, football.
do we have different things around here?
Like live demos and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I've done some demos a long time ago. It was more at some of the local schools. So I was doing stuff like that, partnering with the community kind of thing. I've been invited to. We have a Cedar Park Center here. We have the Texas Stars hockey team, and then the what is it, Austin Spurs. They changed their name, so they're feeder teams for the professional teams, and each of the teams have asked me to come out and do stuff. I don't have a demo team, so I don't go and do those. I know some
Yeah, that's
schools have
understandable.
demonstration teams and they dedicate. I just
Right.
not really my
That's
thing, I
what we
guess.
do. We go
But
around to a lot of basketball arenas, Red Wings arenas, Tigers, and we do a lot of demonstrations.
that's
We
cool.
even do it in like local parks, where they have like different events going on.
Yeah.
We do them there. So, yeah, we move around like we got no Will night coming up this winter. I believe it's on December the 2nd. It's going to be outside, I guess. 'Cause usually when we have it's outside and it's real cold.
Right.
you know, I can't stand cold.
And you're up in Detroit, is that where you're
Correct, correct. Up in
at?
Detroit. And you know how it is when you get cold in Detroit.
Yeah, they get pretty cold temperatures out here. I'm in Texas, so we just have hot most of the time, and then it gets cold for a couple weeks. That's about it.
You you got the feel of the heat.
Yeah,
We have the feel of the cold.
yeah, we're just
And then
opposite
that makes
environments
trouble.
there.
Hey, this has been an honor. This has been great. Enjoying talking with you, knowing who you are, why you study Tangsoo, Korean martial arts. 'Cause I know a lot of people too that study martial arts. Um, some people quit when they get to a certain rank. Like I
Yeah,
know a lot of people that went from white, got to orange, disappeared.
yeah,
Got to white, got to black, disappeared.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait a minute.
The drop off,
What?
the higher up, I've gone, the drop off is more dramatic. Like when I first got my black belt, I tested with four other people. None of them train anymore. So
Right,
it's
see, you got to remember, times then was different. Times now has changed. Do
oh
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
Tangsoo has changed since the time you started Tangsoo?
It has. I think good, bad, and ugly. There's always that. If it doesn't change with everything else, it's gonna go away basically. So I mean, I certainly try to do continually educate myself on best teaching practices, and my wife's a teacher, so I steal a lot of stuff from her teaching practices, and it works, and it's amazing. But and she always continually educates herself on teaching and things like that. And I've been doing the fitness aspect of it for a long time. So I do a lot of body weight exercise stuff to keep myself in shape. I mean, I turned 50 this year, and I want to stay ahead of my students and
You're
stay in good
years
shape.
older than me.
Do
I'm
better.
47.
All
I'm
right, man.
47.
Yeah, yeah,
We got to keep it alive, right?
yeah. Exactly it. You gotta stay in shape and stay ahead of
I got another question.
it.
So you have you know do you think like all these other martial arts has gone into sports like Olympics? Do you ever think Taekwondo would end up there or no?
It's interesting to see what happens with these sports. Like the judo's been in Olympics for a long time, and
Right.
judo's been a sport for a long time. So there's a certain set of parameters that they work within, and it's really amazing stuff to watch. And then when I would watch the Taekwondo stuff, it was not. It's like the standards were way different, and then the last few Olympics that I watched Taekwondo, it was the some of the players were just the attitudes, and they're kicking refs and stuff like that. It's turned into like WWE garbage kind of stuff. You're just like, come on, man, this is the Olympics. The
I
standard
do agree.
is
I
way
do agree.
way up here.
WWE, I do agree. I
It's
definitely agree.
you know
Because the
so
more you
it's
sit back
and
and
then
watch
they
it and look at it, it's like, what are you doing?
yeah,
And
yeah, like I would have
there it is.
never like my instructor would have knocked me out for that kind of garbage. It's just like, no way. The first time I saw that happen, I was like, did that just really happen? And then they're doing a replay. I'm like, no, oh my God. I was like, they would be out of the sport banned kind of thing. I was like, no, there's no
Yeah.
place for you here for that. But
I've been watching this thing called was that backyard fights
oh no,
where you had certain martial arts go in here and then they would totally get knocked out.
wasn't that MMA?
It's like, okay, where are you guys training at to get knocked out like this? Because I
I don't.
mean,
Yes.
now you're
Oh,
the big guy. He's really good as far as his size. He's like a dominator because he know how to use those legs. But certain guys I see doing these backyard fights, they go
right.
out here and they do stuff on YouTube, and they go out here and fight, and some of them get handed to them.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean,
Yeah.
we got to see karate in the Olympics for the first time and the only time, apparently. I guess it was a lot of work to get into it, and then, I guess it wasn't as well received, but I liked watching it more than I did like watching the Taekwondo, and I liked watching Judo more than I liked watching the Taekwondo, and it's just, to me, it just is a sad state of affairs for that, and it shouldn't be, but, as far as Olympic sports, and I teach archery, so archery's in the Olympics, and you don't see that garbage going on in archery. They just go out there and
Right.
take care of business, right? They're
Yeah.
trying to outshoot
Yeah.
each other.
They going right at it.
Yeah.
So then, you ever think that you would change from Tangsoo to another martial art, or you would stick with Tangsoo for the rest of your life?
uh, I cross train a lot, so I do other things. I've been doing Kali for a long time and enjoy that a lot. I do
Okay.
uh, one of my oldest students came to me, and he was a kung fu guy and does tai chi and all this, and so I started doing tai chi with him, and we do a lot of kung fu weapons. I'll pan around so you can come see the arsenal behind me here. So we've got all
No.
the different Shaolin type weapons, spears, quan daos, you name it. All these Chinese weapons are right here.
Wow. Wow, you
And then we
ready?
got
I like
a
that.
variety of Chinese swords, every kind of style of sword. I'll pan back over there. So you got super long ones, the straight ones, the broadswords, you name it. So we do a lot of cross
Wow.
training,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
cool
I
because
go ahead.
that's cool. Because you always want to learn everything. You
Yeah,
don't want to
well,
shorten yourself. You want to learn everything you can.
and I've had guest instructors come out, and one of them was a Muay Thai master, and we did. He liked to look at uh, other styles and go, how are they similar? And so that's like-minded, and I was like, yeah, I think this guy would be good. And we had a training session and looked at, we do this and do the catch wrestling kind of stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, this is just like in Nahanji Shodan. This is like in Nahanji Eden. And there was a lot of similarities, so we were going back and forth about, oh, it's like this, and I'd show him the form, and he's like, ah, it's the same thing. So it's very
That's
exciting to
funny
see
you say that.
and find people like
Nahashi Ida
that.
is one of my favorites.
Do it now.
Nahashi Ida is one of my favorites.
Yeah, those are fun forms. They're brutal, but you
Yeah.
gotta you gotta break them down and look at them and really see. It's like, what is going on in this form? What's
Right.
happening? And you see stuff out there. There's people that just kind of throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks, but it's there's more to it than that. It's just practice, analysis. Look at other styles. Look at the Japanese, the bunkai, that and how they
Yeah,
break it
because
down.
I watch a lot of Nahachi Ida forms from other different, schools or
Yeah,
so, and I see everybody does a little different
yeah. Even
versus like what we're.
Yeah, even amongst the Japanese styles, you can see differences between their different styles, their different interpretations of it. So to me, it's fascinating to look at that and going, well, that's where ours came from, was the Japanese style.
Right.
And if we don't acknowledge that, then we're just lying to ourselves and everybody else. You know what I mean? So it doesn't do any
Absolutely.
good. But there's people out there that are like, no, it's only Tangsoo. I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? Just like, no, man.
Yeah. Chuck Norris studied Tangsoo,
Yeah,
and he was really
and
good at it.
he did, what was it, jujitsu also, right? And
Third.
so
He
there's
did
people
about
that
it.
cross train all the time. Do what?
Right. He did quite a few of them.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
So he
I
holds.
look at it and say, hey, well, let's check it out, see what it's like. If I like it, I stick with it. I do other styles that are not related to Tangsoo. Like I do Ayajits, which is Japanese sword style, and then I got into Kumie, which is a Korean version. Actually, they're very similar in how they operate. So the Korean sword style borrows heavily from the Japanese sword style. And to
Right.
not acknowledge that is kind of stupid, but
I mean, it's
I
always good to learn
recognize where
new
it comes from
things.
and utilize it. Do I?
Absolutely, I do agree.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
agree. Because I mean, I want to learn Kempo, but we don't have any Kempo schools around here that I know of.
yeah,
But Kempo is something that I want to get into, but it's kind of hard to get into Kempo where there's no school around to teach Kempo stuff.
exactly. Yeah, which is
But
real.
right. I remember back then we had a lot of Japanese schools, that was in like further out in the suburban
Yeah,
areas. And now you really don't too much care about those no more. You had Tiger Chunks, you had Japanese martial arts,
right.
you had, Taekwondo, you had types of everything, but you really don't hear about those major martial arts schools like you used to. I don't know what happened to them.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
you look at the pandemic, that wiped out a lot of schools as well. I mean, there was some around
yes,
here
yeah,
that closed up shop pretty quick. But and the thing that gets me about that was we saw it coming, and so as a business person, as a martial artist, I was like, okay, I need to adjust, and I need to adjust now
right.
to get weather this storm. And I just played worst case scenario and figured it out fast, and went on, to doing Zoom and doing classes that way because we went into a lockdown. So if I hadn't done that, that would have torpedoed my whole business. So it's and
But see, that's funny.
I you cut out there.
We worked
Sorry,
all through the thing.
the audio cut out. I didn't hear you.
Oh, no, I said we worked all through the pandemic,
Yeah,
all through it, nonstop.
y'all were outside or were you?
Oh, we was
Y'all have a
inside. We was
lockdown
inside.
or no?
No, we didn't have a blackout, no. But we did inside and we did outside.
Oh, okay.
But we worked it all through the pandemic. I mean, more hesitation. We wore masks and stuff, we
Yeah, yeah.
protect us with gear. But we worked all through the pandemic because we didn't feel like, can't nothing stop us. I mean, what's going to happen is going to happen then. If it didn't
Right,
happen now, it's not going to happen at all. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We're going
right.
to continue to work. That's what we're doing. We train.
So you guys just adapted to it and moved on. And a lot of people
Right. I
didn't.
mean,
They thought they could just do whatever they wanted to, and then you found out the hard way. And it's just like, you know.
but I'm saying, I mean, what's going to happen to you is going to happen to you. I mean, why stop
Sure.
training? For what? I
Yeah.
mean, if it's your last day, it's your last day. If it's not,
Make it a good one.
go out with a kid. Don't
Yeah,
go
there
out
you go.
with um, right, I miss a day of working out. You want to make it look
Yeah.
good, make it look good. That's how I see it. I mean, I ain't going to change Tangsoo. Tangsoo going to always be in my blood. This is where it's at. I would never change schools. I would never I mean, if I see something I like that catch my attention, I would probably do it.
Right.
But right now, I haven't seen anything that caught my attention. So
Yeah.
I'm going to stick where I'm at.
I'm with you on that. Tangsoo is my base. That's what I say. It's kind of my, it's always going to be there, but I like to do other things and go, what can I steal from this and make Tangsoo better kind of thing. It adds it or enhances it. Or I go, hey, wait a minute. We do that. I was like, that's in this thing, or we've done that before. It's in a
Have you thought
form.
about creating your own system?
Because, you really think about it, all martial arts are kind of the same anyway. So,
Yeah.
the
Just
body
different
only
names.
moves so many ways, right?
It's all body mechanics.
Exactly.
Have you thought
And
about creating your own system?
no, no,
No.
not really. I know people that do that, and it seems like too much work, and then they try too hard on it, and it's just like use what you
It
got.
doesn't work out for
You just integrate it in, or if other people don't like it, that's their problem, kind of thing.
Right, right,
But I don't see the point in trying to create a whole new style. I mean, you really
right.
got all this other stuff. The mixed martial arts, it's already been done now, but I mean, it was also done a long time ago. Like masters, instructors, they would train with each other, and they go, "Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that," and then from different style to
Absolutely.
different style. So just kind of absorb. Like the Aegis that I do is its roots trace back to the second oldest sword style from Japan. And the history of it is they kind of just absorbed other little offshoot sword styles, so they just made it part of it, and they just kept them, adding to their style. So it's evolved over the years. It's traditional, but it's still evolving, right? And they still break it down, and they still work on mechanics and fundamentals and basics, right?
Right, right.
And that's the way I look at Tangsoo. It's the same thing, just basics, break it down, work on the techniques and understanding how they work and body mechanics and how everybody's bodies are different too and how they move and go through techniques. So, and
But
you,
have
as a
you thought
teacher, you got
about
to
a lot of,
recognize that too.
have you thought about a lot of martial arts has been watered down now to where the original art has washed away to where the some is still doing traditional, original, but other martial arts has wiped away as it's not martial arts no more. It's more like a routine thing.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in some schools, and I think with the advent of the internet and all the social media now and YouTube and all that stuff, information is more readily available and more exchanges happen. Like you and I are in two different cities, real time,
Right,
talking with each other. Like
right.
20 years ago, this
We couldn't
would
do
have been a very expensive setup.
it.
Like ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Think
Because see,
about that. And
right now,
we got supercomputers in our hands.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you remember back
And
then, we didn't have computers.
right.
Back
Yeah,
then,
the
you wasn't
computers were
allowed to put
bulky
martial
and
arts out there.
yeah, you had to look at a phone book if you wanted to go find a karate place, and hopefully they were
Absolutely.
listed.
Red pages, white
There
pages.
was no Google.
Right. It was no Google, right.
Right.
Yellow pages and white
Yeah,
pages.
exactly.
You see, the thing I remember, now we still stick by the old laws where we don't post what we do for our skill wise on social media because it's not for the world to know. A lot of people post what they know on social media. Do you think that could become a target for you?
Well, see, I have a YouTube channel, and I do how-to videos for forums, and so I just do it and I describe it as a mechanical walkthrough. So I'm not teaching the rhythm, I'm not teaching the timing. I'm just saying the techniques in Korean and demonstrating. And I did that for my students originally, so they could have a reference, because I had a lot of
Right.
parents that would ask me, it's like, hey, do you have videos on YouTube that we can have my kid watch, and then they can come in, train and get questions answered, or they go, oh, I was getting stuck on this part, and then I saw you do it, and we got through it, or I remember that part now, and
Right.
and they kept asking me about that, and I was like, yeah, I should probably do that, and I would go out and look on YouTube to see what was out there, and there was a lot of bad stuff. I mean, there was some good stuff. It was hard to find when I first started doing it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do some videos for my students. And now it's turned into more, I get contact from people all over the world going, hey, thanks for putting these videos out. It really helped me remember from when I was doing Tong Studio 30 years ago or 10 years ago, or
Wow.
I'm currently training them and I'm just stuck on stuff. and that's exciting to me. And
Right.
yeah, I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of haters on there too, but I just ignore that stuff,
What
and
can you say?
I focus on the positive. You know, stick with the positive.
Because you know what? Those haters going to keep you alive and keep you moving
Right,
and
and that's
keep you
fine
pushing.
because they're gonna watch every single minute and try to find what's wrong with what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm human. I'm gonna screw up, and sometimes I don't want to film it again. So I'll be like, yeah, that was a little hiccup there.
I always know a person can't really tell you how you messed up because you are the person that's instructing the class. So
Right.
only you will know if you mess up. They can't tell you if you mess up, but you know that's their opinion, that's their word, whatever. You know, it doesn't even matter because you know who you are and what you're about.
So I don't have a problem doing social media. I know a lot of instructors don't want to do it, or they don't want to put up with all the keyboard warriors, you know. And
How do you
so
think you're gonna grow?
exactly,
Everything
yeah.
plays a part. You just can't post a picture or a video on social media and say, hey, here it is, it's gonna work out. It don't
It
work
doesn't
like
it
that.
it doesn't matter. It could be the coolest thing ever, but someone's gonna dislike it. Period. It
Yeah.
just doesn't matter. And you're just like, really? You're hating that? Why? What?
For example, I had 39K, right?
Doing that?
So out of 39K, I lost 9 of those 39K followers,
That's awesome,
which put
man.
me
See,
in the
my little Instagram account is, pale in comparison. So, but I'm very inconsistent with it. I try to stay on it, but I don't like you post a lot of stuff. I don't even know how you keep up with all that. But
I work out during the nighttime. I train during the nighttime, and then like during daytime, I do my nunchakus, or nighttime. Like when I get done working out, I do my
right,
conditioning, and then I try to post little videos that I saved already into the phone or my social media site. So I save little videos that I did already,
yeah.
and I repost them at the same time of day.
I'll
But I
be
try to keep them all in check.
and we'll do stuff in class, and I'll be like, man, I should have filmed that. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
just doing
if
stuff. I was
you
like, oh,
see
that looked
something that
good,
helps
and then I'm
people,
like, I should have been videoing that. But it's just one of those things. It's just, I don't. It's not in the forefront all the time, but I have a thing I do on YouTube, and I try to. I've not been consistent with it lately, but I get back onto my how-tos. That's kind of the whole driver of that channel, the how-to videos. But I just do other things, and that's the thing. As a business owner, you got to constantly feed the Google algorithm so you can stay at the top for when
absolutely.
people are just looking for, hey, what martial arts is around me. So if you're not putting stuff out
Right.
there constantly now, it's just you're gonna get left behind, and it's
Absolutely.
kind of crazy. So I mean, I waited too long, I think, to get on TikTok. I was like, a year before I got on there, I was like, man, I should get on TikTok now. I was like, I don't do another social media thing, and then I got on it and I actually enjoy it. It to me was easier than Instagram using Instagram. So don't get me wrong, I like Instagram, but it's just I've had problems with the company and their products in the past, and it's just like,
Yeah,
okay, just make it work right. With
I get
other
it. I get it.
platforms
Because,
like
I mean,
YouTube,
I'm
well,
still, yeah, YouTube is they have a lot of changes right now going on YouTube right now. It's happening on YouTube, and you got to stay posted on that because YouTube is changing big time right
yeah,
now, and they got a
it
lot of
is.
new content coming out on YouTube.
Yeah, I gotta look at. I get. I'm part of the creators thing. They send you notices and all that. And I gotta get caught up on some of that stuff because they're
Yeah,
changing things.
don't stop.
But
Keep pushing because
last
stuff is about to
year,
happen.
I got monetized, so I was very excited about that. I made that push and got through all that junk. I was like, yay! I'm making a little bit of money. So
That's all that matters. You got monetized. See, that's the key. Because without monetization, then it means it's not worth nothing.
right,
So when
otherwise
you get
I'm just
monetized,
wasting my time posting stuff. But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
also
basically that's what
marketing
it is.
too. Yeah. So I look at these things as tools. Some people get too wrapped up in it, and it's just like, no, it's a tool. You just got to keep that in mind. Just like when we're training, what is this technique, this tool being used for? Kind of thing.
Right.
And it's just,
So what is your favorite weapon?
Oh, I'd have to say sword for sure. I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
overall. So yeah, I'll show you the
So,
Japanese and Korean swords. We'll wander over here real quick. I'll give you the nickel tour
okay.
of the studio. So yeah, there's the training swords right here. So we've got some aluminum ones. So this is a steel one. These are aluminum. Then we have the wooden ones, and then we have the bigger ones, where these are for strengthening and conditioning. So you can see how wide that is. This is the Sabrina.
Wow.
Yeah. So that'll keep you
Wow.
honest. Those work some muscles.
Yeah,
But
you got those real big long ones. Yeah,
oh,
those
totally.
are kind of heavy too. Those
And then
get
we've
the
got the
really use body with the
we've
swing. Good.
got the
I'm a new chucker man. I love my new chuckers. You know, I got
yeah.
a
I
what?
did. My very first weapon was nunchaku. So because I saw the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. I was like, that's awesome. I'm gonna learn those, and I got some padded
But
ones
you
and
know
started
what? Though?
beat the snot out of
Everybody
myself.
seen
Great.
Bruce Lee. You know who inspired me? Ninja movies,
Yes,
Teenage
80s
Mutant Ninja
ninja
Turtles.
movies.
When
They
I
were
was a
horribly and
kid.
awesome at the same time,
Right.
That
I mean, hey, this is
that
great, man. This is
just
great.
was kung fu theater too, right? So you got all these old Shaolin movies, and you can see the wires as they're jumping around and all that stuff. But it was still
Yeah.
great. When you were a kid, you're like, "This is amazing." You look at it now, you're like, "This is awful," but it's still cool at the same
We all
time.
had that dream when we was a kid that we all wanted to be martial artists. And we want to, because some people, it's only very percentage people that actually go and make it here versus
Yeah,
going to here. They go, you know, and it's real limited, And if you're not dedicated, you're not physically, mentally focused on it,
right.
it's not going to happen,
Yeah, you,
you
you know,
know.
you, whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So if you're
Right.
putting everything into it, you're going to get good returns on it. You know, you know how that goes. You put the work in. It's just like,
Absolutely.
just
Right
like when
there.
you talk, you do the chucks all the time, and you're probably really good at it.
I'm still here. I got mine on. So I mean, I'm a dedicated martial artist. But I see some people that comes in. I say, it's like a revolving door. They come in one day, you don't see them no more. Like we had a student come in. He was a white belt. He didn't give himself a chance.
Yeah,
He was, and I looked up. I didn't see him no more. I'm like, wait a minute. Where everybody at? Then I see this fraud picture. Fraud picture said, what happened to the people you used to train with? And it hit you like, man, where is everybody? What is they
right.
doing? They still training, or they
Life
just say
happens
forget? I just
sometimes. Yeah. And
right.
it's not for everybody too. That's the thing. It's just and a lot of people beat themselves up about it. They want, and that's part of the society problem that we have is the whole instant gratification. They don't want to do the work, put the work in, or it's too hard, or
Absolutely.
you get into that
I
whole
mean,
discussion.
really, you can't get here until you put the work in.
Right, right. You got to do the time, and that's the thing.
Right.
I see that with archery. Is I have, beginners come in and they're like, my goal for them is to actually just hit the target. I don't care where on the target, just hit the target. That's the first goal. It's like
Right.
I show them the techniques and we practice and all that, and they wanted to hit that bullseye. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. I mean, statistically, it might on the first day, but
Right.
I was like,
Right.
really? I was like, just hit the target, and we'll celebrate that victory and go from there. And when you look at the targets, and I'll just go around over here to the targets, get you a tour of
So how
everything.
often do you do
I
archery?
do three. Well, yeah, we do Monday, Friday, and Saturday. And so as you can see, the rings. We start eliminating rings. Like, all right, I want you to stay inside the black ring. Now I want you to stay inside the blue ring. Now I want you to stay inside the gold, the red ring. And then, ultimately we're shooting all gold
Yeah,
now.
that's been taking a
And
lot of beating.
yeah,
I can see it been taking a lot of beating.
I punish we punish our equipment around here. We use a lot of stuff, and I replace a lot of things all the time. So it's
So how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn martial arts and study martial arts and Tangsoo? How can they get in touch with you?
do what now?
How can people get in touch with you that want to learn Tangsoo or any types of martial arts and they
I'm
want to get
all
in
over.
contact?
I'm all over social media. So yeah, I've got YouTube, I've got TikTok, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook. I think I have a Tumblr account. I don't know. I don't do anything with it. It's just
Well, which one are your biggest moves?
what was it? Twitter. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever.
I'm on Twitter too.
That's a
It's called X
dumpster fire.
now. I
But
don't
what's
know to X.
what's the news? I'm on Threads now. I jumped on that one right
I didn't
away.
do Threads yet.
But
They
I
said once you get on Threads, it's kind of hard to get rid of Threads. It will take your people down. They say. I don't know how true it is.
I
I
don't
never did
know.
it.
I repost stuff to those things. So I post new stuff to TikTok and Instagram and well really most of the like short form stuff I'll do it on TikTok first and then kind of recycle it to Instagram and Facebook and then in shorts, YouTube shorts. And then my main long content, the how-to stuff or unboxing, like I unbox equipment for fun because it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna do that too. Why not? Because I'm always ordering equipment anyway, and we're going through stuff. So I was like, might as well make it a thing.
So the packages I sent to you, or when you
uh, well,
unbox
actually, I recently did this summer. Century reached out to me and they say, hey, we're gonna send you the triad bag. Will you do a video? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Cool, cool,
What am I gonna say?
cool. I
No to
like to do that
free,
too.
freaking expensive equipment? No way. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. No hesitation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
I would do the same thing.
I did an unboxing thing for Century, tagged them and all that. It was fun, and it was cool. That was one of the things is I'm always talking about their different equipment, and so they just reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Cool, cool. I would do the same thing. Because see, that's called, what that is called branding. You're branding yourself. So that means not only you branding yourself, but you're branding yourself through them as well as your school and as other people seeing you branding and branding yourself. So that's a big part of your life right there. See,
Yeah,
and people seeing this. You
again, it's just another tool, and I'm still, it's just kind
know.
of feeding the machine, right?
But it's a good thing though because when you brand yourself, everybody's watching. They're looking. They're seeing
Yeah.
it. Especially people
Oh
who
yeah,
go
yeah.
on Century and stuff on Century. They're going to see it. It's like, for example, I'm on Karate Mart, right? Whenever you order stuff on Karate Mart, you can send your photos in, you know what I'm saying? And they will post it next to the item that you brought. I got nunchuckers, I got the Kung Fu uniform with the frog
Yeah,
buttons,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
got the headband, and they got all my photos next to each item,
See,
which
now
is
I'm
the
gonna go
black
look it up.
octagon.
After we're done talking, I'll be pulling it up on the internet.
Yeah, every last one of my photos is next to each one. The octagon nunchucks, the black ones. The Kung Fu uniform, with the white frog buttons. I got a picture next to that one. I got
Nice.
my Tangsoo uniform on with the nunchuckers. You know,
Right, right,
I got
right.
them all these two.
Yeah, it's fun
That's
stuff,
called
man.
branding.
Yeah,
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 because people
absolutely.
sight see it, they're going to see your photo next to that item. Oh man, I want these. I want to get those. I want to purchase those. I want to buy these. So people
Yeah,
see that, you know,
yeah. I
for you.
recommend stuff, and then I'll test some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna use that.
Well, I mean, would it help you use it or would it hurt you?
Yeah, I'm looking for quality stuff, and I'll give an honest opinion about it. Like the new bag, I love it, man. It's made better than the older one, and it's because it's actually six-sided, but it's in a triangle format that get the rounded edges, and it's cool because you can come up on this thing. So you got the wider side, that's a little bit thicker. That's the flat side, and these are rounded
Right.
right here. And so you can be very target specific on different techniques. So you can work on pichage, you can work on hook punches, different ridge hand, you name it. You just throw it all on there. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It looked like fun. 'Cause I mean, I would love to get my hands on it, but I can't. I'm hearing you there.
And that's the
So,
thing.
I think on the bad one.
And the fact that they approached me about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do a video and test it out and play with it. And my students like it. Some of them don't like it. They're like, this is really hard bag. I'm like, it's part of the conditioning. You get tougher, and then you won't realize it's a hard bag anymore. You just kick on
But
it
see,
and
that's
play.
cool because now you're going to have more brandings to come to you. Just because there's branding here, more branding is going to come to you in brand. So that means more exposure for you.
Right.
People are going to see who you are, see what you're about, and all this branding you're doing. It's more exposure for you and your school and schools as well. So that's going to help you out a lot in the future,
Yeah. That's the
And
idea. That's the
it
goal. That's how can I make
just
my
begin.
my studio better and the environment better and bring more people in and introduce more people to Tangsoo, and how can we keep this martial art going and growing and it doesn't matter. You got all these different organizations of Tangsoo and as long as the same end goal is in mind is to teach and pass it on and improve on it, that's really what's important for the art is for it to continue to grow and evolve. Not to
Yeah.
become stagnant and complacent. And
We're,
that's the thing going back to what we were talking about earlier is, with the internet, there's not much in the way of gatekeeping anymore. So you don't have people going, well, I'm not going to teach that. I mean, you still have some older masters that kind of do that, but they really can't anymore because of the technology has changed and the information is out there, and it's stuff gets debunked and things like that. And I think that's a positive thing. There's a lot of not positive things with social media, but you just try to utilize the positive aspects of things, and think good things will happen.
but that's the thing, though. You got to remember, back then, you couldn't even put martial arts on social media. Why? Because then we didn't have social media. And
No,
then when we did have social media, you still couldn't put martial arts out there. It means that people now have broke the silence of secrecy because now
right?
you put something out there for the world to know. They ain't supposed to know about it.
Yeah,
Do you
yes
agree?
and yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, you got to do it responsibly. You know what I mean? You can't just be
Right.
going out there and being reckless and stupid about it. That's going to
Right.
blow back on you as well. But
Right.
as long as you're doing it responsibly and thoughtfully, I don't see a problem with it, honestly. But there's a lot of stuff that you still see, like even in the comments of the videos and stuff. I'll be like, they're still thinking that's this. Like one of the ones that gets me was about basic Form 1. There's still people out there that are like, oh, yeah, Grandmaster Wonky created basic Form 1. No, he borrowed that from Japanese martial arts. He didn't create it. He utilized it as a training
Right.
tool, but it's that's been debunked a long time. But there's still people that are pushing that, and they're still either knowingly or that's what they actually believe, and it's just that shouldn't be the case anymore, kind of thing. It's like no, that's also I try to educate people
That's
on it, and there's other
why
people
people.
that are really good at it too, and they're fighting the good fight.
That's why people got to do their homework and study because
Yeah,
a lot of people like you have a lot of people out here too that's false flagging as far as you know black belts is really not black belts. And what do you guys say about that? If people claiming black belts are not black belts, that's kind of weird too.
yeah. It's interesting too, and you gotta when you're teaching, you teach children a certain way, and you teach teenagers a certain way, and you teach adults because the way their brains develop, you can't just go and say, oh, okay, do this, and then the kid to completely understand, or they don't understand. Like as an adult, you have to start explaining use of force and understand how use of force works and comes into play.
Right.
Because we live in the society that we live in. Yeah, you can defend yourself, but you got to be smart about it too, because otherwise you're going to end up
Right.
in jail as well. So,
Absolutely.
and I've gone
It's
to
true.
other seminars where there's a lawyer talking about this, and that's the thing. As a teacher, I want to make sure to educate myself about how the law looks at self-defense and what you can do and you can not do, and or what you think you can do, and then you will end up in jail for doing, kind of thing. It's one of those things you got to be on it,
Oh, yeah.
because
But see,
if
here's the
you're
thing.
teaching
People
it,
not reading the
it's
law.
going to come back on you too. So
Yeah. People not reading the laws. So they ain't gonna never know. But when something actually happens, then you in behind them bars, then you figure it out. But it's too late to figure it out
yeah,
because you're already in here stuck.
yeah. After the
You
fact,
know,
that's not good.
this is why they say you wear his uniform with pride.
Yeah.
You uphold yourself to the most respect. You don't downgrade yourself. You
No,
don't go out here starting fights. You don't go out here looking for fights. You carry
no.
yourself as a man or a woman, a productive person, a productive citizen,
Yeah, yeah.
and you live as a
But
citizen. You go out and help people, not
right.
destroy
Yeah.
people.
You want to be good. Be a good person. Push on. You don't. It's like the old adage: you go looking for trouble, trouble will find you.
Absolutely. It's out there to find you too.
Yeah.
It's definitely out there.
So I mean, you put good karma out in the world, it's going to come back. That kind of thing. You put bad karma out there, well, expect it to run you over.
This is what I do all day. I train all day. I come home, train. Go back, train. Come home, train. That's all I do all day.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what you do. If you're a business owner, martial arts studio owner, you should be training for yourself, training,
Well, I'm not a business
setting up your
owner. I'm
lessons
an
and how
instructor.
how you're going to train your students, that kind of thing, and how you're going to scale things and you know pull it apart,
I don't think
rebuild
I'm
it,
ready to run school.
do it.
See, some people have the ability to run a school right now. I don't have the ability to run a school right now. But I am an assistant instructor in Tangsoo,
Right.
which is, I help students out training and stuff like that. But as far as me being a school owner, that's going to take a little bit more time
Yeah.
because I'm not ready to be a school owner. Even if I
It's
was ready, I'm still not ready to be a
yeah.
school owner.
Other people have for other professions and things like that. So, and then there's people that do like what you're doing is assistant instruction, helping out, or substitute teaching, or I don't know how your arrangement is with your school, if you're teaching certain classes, or I'm a
No, I
small school, so it's
teach.
just me now.
I help teach all classes white through red. I don't do the blacks unless she asks me to work with a black on certain things, but that's when I help a black. But usually I teach white through red.
Yeah.
Far as black wise, we all train together. She might say, or my instructor might say, Kilson Neal might say, I'll tell you, Sabine or Kilson Neal might say, yeah, help them do, ENA, or
Right. Yeah.
someone, and I go out there and help them. But as far as me teaching black belts, that's their thing. I stick with what I do here as far as white to red.
It's all good. It's all good. Like I had before the pandemic, I had an assistant instructor, and he was an employee, and then everything went sideways, and it was one of those things. Is like, look, here's what we can do. We're gonna have to go online, and I asked him, I was like, would you be willing to teach classes online as well, and maybe we can grow the school? And he's like, he didn't want to do it, so it was one of those. I had to cut him. I had to let him go because it was my business or keep him on and tank the whole thing. And I was like, it was not a fun decision, but he wasn't willing to go out of
Put
his
the effort
comfort
in.
go out of his comfort zone and adapt, and we could have exploded in growth and succeeded even better.
Well,
Or
you
I
got
had
to
to
remember,
let him go, and that was the thing. And it was
everybody
about surviving the
don't have
school.
the same, everybody don't have the same ability you have.
No.
Remember, Me and you and a lot of us are serious Tangsoo practitioners.
Right.
Some of
Yeah.
us are serious about what we do. A lot of us is not serious about what we do.
Yeah.
This is why we don't stick around that long. We only go so far to where we say, you know what, I'm done. I can't do it no more.
Right.
But then you
Right.
realize if you would have stuck with it, and turn where it might took you.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
mean, and it was disappointing that it was like he didn't want to get out of his comfort zone and push the envelope in a crazy time, but it could have been a very life changing in a positive way for him. But instead, I had to let him go, and I don't know what happened to him after that, but because I was concerned about taking care of my students in my school through this thing that nobody had planned for, right?
right,
So
right.
now I actually have added that to my business plan. It's like, okay, I was prepared for fires, tornadoes, flooding, and now pandemic's a little section in my business plan.
So you're saying that you're
Insane
teaching
if
your
that
students
happened.
about tornadoes, pandemics, and stuff like that?
The pandemic was not on the radar. It was like not at all. But now it
No,
is. It's like,
no. I thought you said that you're teaching your students about tornadoes,
oh, no,
earthquakes,
no, no,
pandemics.
no. Yeah. Well, if you live
Right.
in Texas, you got to deal with tornadoes, so that's the thing.
Are they real heavy there?
um, yeah, we get hit in Cedar Park a couple times, a year with a tornado, so it's a thing here. It's just like on the coast, you got to deal with hurricanes, but the thing is with hurricanes, you can go away from them. Tornadoes just drop down and say hi all of a sudden, so but
Yeah.
it's like
Okay.
it's like California. They deal with earthquakes. You never know when that's going
Right.
to happen. It just happens. You're like, oh crap, the planet
But that's the thing,
shifted.
though. So people know this is going on. Why stay there and you know this is going on? If this could possibly kill you, why stay there?
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those things. You just learn how to adapt to it, I guess, and then there's not really any safe place on the planet. Some weird stuff's going to happen. Period.
Yeah, I get it. But if I know Mother Nature's going to take me out, I'm not going to stay there. I'm
No,
gone.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, well, there's a certain city in Texas that the tornadoes pretty often hit. And I'm like, why don't y'all just move the city? They're always rebuilding. I was like, maybe that's Mother Nature telling you something. You just shouldn't be here.
That's like living at Yellowstone Park where you got volcanoes and soon the volcano erupts and it just come down. Where you gonna run to?
That's,
You can't outrun
that's
it.
it.
You're gonna
No.
be right alive.
Don't be near it.
I'm not staying there. I'm not staying there. I'm gone. I'm getting out of there.
It's just
So,
it's just like watching horror movies. You're like, don't go in there, and they go in there. You're like, oh, idiot. Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's why they call it devil's advocate. You go in there and get burned.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
It's like, no, I'm gonna go
I'm
this way.
staying out of tornadoes way. I'm staying out of earthquakes way, and I'm staying out of volcanoes way.
It's a good one. Yeah.
But you're right though.
It's good
Something's
policy.
gonna happen. And you could be walking and a brick from a building could fall down and hit you right in the head. You never
That's
know.
true. You never know.
So you gotta be ready for the unexpected. That's all.
Yeah.
So, are you planning on opening any more schools, or do you have any more schools open now as we speak? Are you planning on opening, like, if you get more senior students, are you planning on doing more schools or just
Yeah,
expanding your school?
I would like to expand. I got some other projects I would like to do. So, I would like to be able to have my location here to just get to the where it can run itself, where I would have another instructor, start taking on classes, and then I can get other projects going. Maybe another school. There's different things I want to play with and do, and so I mean, karate is always going to be my passion, but it's just
Absolutely.
you got to get a system in place before you move forward. because if you don't do it right, you can end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Absolutely.
And
I do
I
agree.
was at that point before the pandemic, and I was like really thinking about another second location, and then everything went sideways. So then I've spent recovering time from that, and I think we're getting back into a better place and a better doing more things again. I have more workshops going on where I bring people in. So I have a good friend of mine. He's in Tangsoo master, but he also does cane. So we did a cane workshop 2 weekends ago, and then I had last weekend I had a parent who I found out she Olympic level gymnast, and she's won medals in mountain climbing and mountain biking, and she consults with other gymnastic schools in the area for stretching and strengthening. So we did a strengthening and stretching workshop last weekend, and that went really well. And
Yeah.
so I'll probably have her come in and do another one and torment us on stretching and whatnot. It was good stuff.
I mean, I would love to visit your school one
Oh
day.
yeah, if you're ever in Texas, man, definitely come by.
Really good. I mean, me personally, you see, Texas is different from here in the city of Detroit. So I would love to learn the new culture in Texas as far as Tangsoo wise, seeing how everybody reacts as far as Tangsoo, and
Yeah,
that's another
just
thing.
come
What's
visit
going
in the
on.
fall and the winter, man, and you'll be like, "Oh, this is y'all's winter? Okay, this is nice."
Right,
Because
right.
you come in the summer, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is horribly hot."
I seen videos where people was like, "Ooh, my God," drinking water like it's like 100 something degrees outside. I'm like, it's really that hot down there?
Yeah, it is.
Man.
I mean,
So either way
it's
it
like
goes, you
you got Arizona and Nevada. They're super hot too, but they're like dry hot, and then you don't realize how much water you drink. Like a couple of years back, we went to a Tangsoo thing out in Arizona, and I noticed we were walking around the downtown area. All these shops had like pitchers of water and ice and fruit in the pitchers, and it was just free water for people because
right.
of how quickly you lose water. And I was like, oh, I'll take a drink, and then you like tank it. You're like, I didn't realize how thirsty I was. It's crazy. So it's the
I
southwestern
mean,
states, they're hot.
right, because y'all are right there at like the borderline of the desert, correct?
Do what now?
Y'all like right there at the borderline of the desert.
Well, Texas is so big, we have some. We
I'm
have,
saying y'all not like the borderline
well,
because the desert has like 175, 100.
yeah, I mean, we this past summer we had about a month of 115 to 120 degrees for 30 or
Man, that's
40
called
days. It
stroke
was
heat.
ridiculous. So like
That's
all the
called
grass is like
stroke heat.
dead. Yeah, I mean it's we're gonna turn into a desert probably. If we don't do something about
But
it.
no, you said at 115, that's called stroke heat.
Yeah, that's called my electric bill for my AC is ridiculous.
Yeah. So I ain't gonna hold you up much longer. I enjoyed talking with you. I had a great
Yeah,
conversation with you, sir.
you as well, man.
Uh, maybe we can do this again.
Sure, for sure.
Again, you can give people your information, how to find you, where to look for you
Yeah,
at, and
Rockhold Karate, and you just Google that, and you'll find all the social medias. You'll find my website, and it's interesting too. I had somebody this week reach out to me through Google and said, "Hey, what Tangsoo books would you recommend?" And just through my
oh,
contact form, and I was like, well, this. So I sent them a couple of things through, I linked it through Amazon so I can get a little kickback on it. But
that'd be great. That'd be good because that'd be good. You can do like some Tom Siddle books of your school or yourself, whatever
I
y'all.
actually do have a little project in the works on that. I've got some books in mind, and
Me too as well.
it's
Me too.
it's a matter of just getting it
Because
done. I'm working on. working on the logistics of it right now. Once I get that figured out, then knocking it out will be pretty quick. So I think it'll be a fun little
And I'm,
project to do.
and I'm
Do
also
it.
studying for KOTM as well.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
No, I'm saying I'm doing a book as well right now for
Oh,
Tangsoo, but I'm
nice.
also studying for KOTM as well. So, I do my KOTM test in
Okay,
February.
so I thought you were a KSM. You're not a KSM, or you're testing to be.
Testing for KOTM.
Oh, oh, cool, man.
And I'll be ranking in February as well, too. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
you're doing a double
So,
test.
absolutely. But, you got to work hard, because here's the thing. I had somebody tell me one time, right, that I could come in and be an instructor. How you gonna do that? You ain't even get past first base yet. How you gonna be somebody instructor and somebody dojang when you haven't even passed first base? Well, I can
Right.
do that because I'm me. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through a race to get to here.
Yeah, you
You just
gotta
can't walk up in there.
incrementally work
Yeah, it's
your way
levels.
out, right?
There's levels. You just can't walk in and say I'm gonna be an instructor. It doesn't work like that.
No, I
You know.
like I had when I first started, I was just a student and just I got the black belt. I was like, oh, cool, and then just being a black belt and just training and doing that, and then my instructor would have me help and teach and stuff like that. But I didn't really that wasn't in the forefront of my mind of becoming an instructor. And then later on, it clicked, and I was like, I actually want to do this. And so later on, I tested for third dan and I tested for Kyosa at the same time, and that was a brutal task.
Wow.
So you had to know everything and do everything and know how to
All the
teach,
cool words.
things. So that was one of those things. It's like, okay, now for the teaching part of it, I want you to teach. So I was testing with red belts going to Chodan, and so I was going into third dan, and they had me teach the red belts something new that they were going to learn as Chodans. So I had to introduce
Right.
that to them. That was part of my instructor test, was teaching them some new material after they had gotten their butts kicked for a couple hours of going through everything else. So then they had to be a sponge, and I had to be able to articulate it to where they got it. So it
Yeah,
was
a lot of people don't understand that.
challenging.
Once you get to that rank and get here, the ball game changes.
Yeah,
It's not
for some people. For
when
some
you
people, it
was a
doesn't.
boy. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I've
like
got
it.
students. I've got some black belts that have no interest in teaching, and it's cool. I totally respect that. I'm like, I get it. It's not a big deal to
Yeah.
me, and I still teach them and show them everything they want, and they don't mind helping here and there, just to help a junior, just one-on-one kind of thing. They do that for more of just a mentoring kind of thing, just to help them out. But
Same
they don't
here.
want to do that on a regular basis, kind of thing, and I get that
Yeah.
and I respect that.
I have a
I
lot
do
of people
have
tell me
two
it's time.
masters that do teach. So do it.
I have a lot of people tell me it's time consuming. It takes up from my practice. No, it doesn't. It helps you get better.
Yeah. Well,
Well, this is what I learned. That's what I learned.
yeah. I mean, if you like being a student, you learn something, you get good at it. But when you have to teach it to somebody else and help them have that aha moment, you
Right.
also become even better at it. It's just like it becomes more crystallized in your mind. You're more sharp, more like better understanding for you, and
Absolutely.
it takes you to the next level. And then you're like, I want to bring my students to that next level. I want to get them to that aha moment faster. And then sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And you have to learn how people take in information, and you got to adapt it for each individual. It's like I'm a very
Right. Because
hands-on
we
person.
have a lot of parents.
I have to see it. I can tell
We
them
have a lot of
and just say the words, and they can do it. I'm like, how? How do you do that?
paying attention. Paying attention.
Yeah.
See, you got those who pay attention, and you got those who just come just to waste time and pay and just not do nothing.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way it is, But it's you got to manage it however you manage it. You got to juggle all the balls, right? Keep it moving and moving forward. And if you got something cool in mind and it doesn't go right, you got to change direction and go. Okay, we're gonna do this now.
I
Instead of
mean,
trying to
we do
hold
some
on.
of everything we could possibly name. We do some of everything. We don't do like regular workout routines. Anybody could do a push up, a sit up. We make it more interesting, more challenging. We
Yeah.
make it more harder but challenging. And some people used to doing just regular push-ups. You can do what they call dolphin push-ups. You can do
I want to see
uh,
that. So
you
that
go
sounds
down.
cool.
Yeah, you go down, you up, come back, back up, down, scoot up, come back, back up.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
So
similar to something we
yeah,
do.
so
Yeah.
it's more like this. This is the push-up position here. Down, up, back, up.
Oh yeah. I've done
Yeah,
those. Those are horrible.
right. Yeah, that's called dolphin
No,
push-ups.
those are good. We mix up a lot. We've got so behind me, we've got my board of pain, right? So me and one of my other instructors, we came up with the board of pain, and we have different columns for different things. So we've got all kinds of push-ups, and then I took it to another level with my students, and I have them, instead of me telling them what to do, I'll have the first student go. I was like, okay, go pick an exercise, and then they pick the number of repetitions, and then the next student does a different exercise, and so I have them, and it empowers them, and you get more out of them that way instead of me just sitting there going, okay, do this warm up, do that warm up, and so we mix it up like you're
That's a
saying,
good idea.
do different warm ups, and
Right.
it's cool. I know some of these schools they still do like push ups as punishment. I'm like, man, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah. But see, if you don't mix it up, it's not going to be exciting. See, some
No,
people like to get mixed up in things so it can be exciting. If it's not exciting, they ain't going to do it.
and that's the thing too is if they're punished with exercise, then later in life that's in their brain and they're like, oh, exercise is punishment. And it's like, no, exercise is longer life. You want to
Well,
get into good habits.
actually, it makes you more stronger. So
Yeah.
versus when you first start working out, you was more like, oh, I can't do a push up, I'm too weak.
Yeah.
But now where you push the envelope and you push the envelope a little harder to where now your core is strong, you
Yeah,
strong, you
exactly.
standing tall, you ready. Versus when, oh, I can't do a push up,
Right,
I'm
right.
too weak. Yeah,
It is cool.
So
As an instructor, it's cool to see your students grow up too. It's like, yeah, I remember when you hated those, and now you don't even think about it. And they're like, oh
do you
yeah,
ever go to any other
doesn't
like
bother
martial arts
me
events
anymore.
like you ever go to any other like martial arts events to see what they do, how they do their stuff?
Like doing seminars and stuff. Is that what
Say it
is
again.
it? Is it you talking about
Like
like
for
me
example,
going to do seminars and things like that? Is that what you're talking about?
no, like just say, do you ever go to like any other martial arts events that's having like, just say, the Sox? They having a martial arts event there. Do you ever just like go there to see what's going on or
Yeah, sometimes.
participate, stuff like that?
Um, like I've traveled to other areas just to do different cross training things, like where I'm just a student and just I get to play and just be a student and be a sponge, and
Do
I
they
do that
know
all the
you
time.
are a master?
Do I know?
They know you're a master?
And unless they ask, I don't tell
So you just
them.
going to surprise them? They
I
don't, all right,
just
so I'm saying,
I just
they
go.
don't even know you're a
I go in as a
master.
white belt,
Right,
basically. If
right.
if I do something new, like I've never done before, like a few years back, I went to this cross training thing. So they did some judo, they did some jujitsu, they did some Muay Thai stuff. So it was like this. They had experts from these different fields teaching sessions all weekend long. So I just went in there as a nobody and just was a sponge. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a student and just learn. And that's the thing. I didn't care about the rank. I didn't care about anything else. I was there for me to be a student and learn. That was it.
Right,
Let ego out the door. I didn't care. I was like, no, none of that. Who has time for that? You know what I mean?
right,
It's like
right.
go and learn and do the thing. You know, I mean, I've been doing Tangsoo 30 years, um, and I like doing what I
You
do, and
can't
I
stop.
like learning new things to enhance it. But I don't do the politics. I don't do the I'm a master and you know. I
Right, right.
I, I see stuff on social media and it's like Grandmaster so and so in their
Yeah, I
name
see that a
tag,
lot
or
too.
you know,
I see that a lot.
Master so and so. I was like, okay,
I
nobody
go back
cares.
in those videos. I go back in those videos and I'll watch who's grandmaster or whatever the case may be, or whatever martial arts it is. I'll go in there and I'll watch. I pay attention. I look at the video and I go through all the scenarios of what they be saying and how they be saying it and what they be
Right.
saying. And a lot of videos that come up, I hear Woos or Haas, you know, and I'm like, okay, it's nothing to compare to ours, but right, you know. But I watch all these martial arts and I compare theirs to ours, like, you know, you really can't take nothing from Tangsoo because a lot of martial arts has probably taken from Tangsoo, have you think?
Well, I think yeah, I mean, you look back at the history of it, right? Uh, Korea was occupied by Japan, and so
Right.
the native arts were kind of pushed to the side, and what was available was Japanese art. So, but I mean, if you really start looking at the history of just martial arts in general and countries and their fighting or their trading, martial arts has always been interchanged between different places. And so, you know, when you start really looking at it, it's all about body mechanics and you get people on the internet going, well, my style is better than your style. It's like really, it doesn't matter style too much. I mean,
Right.
you know, everybody
Like
bashes
I
Aikido,
said
but
before, it's all the same thing.
just saying,
It's all martial arts.
it's more of a joke.
It's
But
different
you know,
names,
there's actually
different
good
types.
stuff in Aikido, and it derives from jujitsu, and you know, judo came from jujitsu, and things like that. You know, it's just knowing where things come from as a student. I think it's going to help you. It's not and finding a good teacher too. And like, you know, that was my thing as I went through and I found a good teacher when I first started. And then later on, you know, a third of the way through my martial arts career, some different things happened. I moved and was with an instructor that was okay, not great, but you know, he had other instructors that were awesome and to be around them. And I got to be around the head instructors and sponge off of that. And then, you know, I came back to Texas and I was around some instructors that were awful. And, you know, I got out of that and went and found another Tangsoo thing. And it was like a repeat. There was some bad stuff. And I was just like, I'm out. And then I found some good people again. And, you know, you got to just adjust and find the right people. And now I'm way more picky about who I deal with.
Well, I mean,
and
I'm kind of glad I found an instructor who was really dominant and really about Tong Sudo because the whole family come from Tong Sudo Federation. You know, the son, the two daughters, and her. You know, my instructor is Sabanel. You know, and she's real cool, and she's about her business. You know,
right,
she's nothing to be reckoned with
right,
when it comes to
right.
Tong Sudo.
You got to find
You
the
can't
right
get
people,
nothing past right.
and
You
that's how you
can't get
grow.
nothing past. Absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, you know, hopefully we can have a table full of martial arts and Taekwondo practitioners, you know what I'm saying, that where we can discuss different issues and stuff like that and have it can come together. Or we can all meet up in one good place, big place, and have a Taekwondo dinner or something sort of, you
Yeah,
know.
there's things. There's been attempts like the old. You get to see some of the old the Subakta organization. They've tried to do some stuff, but they've rubbed people the wrong way for too long and kind of thing. So, and I've had people ask me, it's like, well, do you think Tangsoo would ever be like one thing again? I'm like, no, probably never.
I
But I
mean,
think if people are willing to just exchange ideas and stuff, and it's just human nature too, that there's going to be branching. And you think about the philosophy, the Rupa, the water flows down divided kind of thing. That's what happens. You got knowledge, and it moves on, and it changes directions, and it splits off, and whatnot. So I don't think
but
there's
see,
gonna
that's what a lot of people understand
I don't
about
think there's gonna be
Tangsoo.
one that
Tangsoo
rules
have
them
a,
all kind of thing.
no, see, a lot of people understand about Tangsoo. Tangsoo have a lot to offer, as
It
far as
does.
uh, building you as a man to a productive citizen. To giving your own school, to train you to be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
It has so many opportunities in it. People just got to take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah, and it's being as an instructor, you're becoming an instructor and certified and all that, is how to put the best foot forward for the art, how to grow the art, how to get people to understand the art better. But also,
Right.
you as an instructor have to make sure you're getting the right information out there and all that. And
Absolutely.
it's a constant changing thing. And it's people that go back and look at how Tongsudo has come about and how it's grown. And
Right.
you've got people that say certain things that aren't true, and you got to dispel that stuff. And then you got people that are exposing it more and more and going, hey, here's what actually how it played out. Here's how this happened, and this is where this comes from. And people need to acknowledge that. And the problem is it's always been ego that gets in the way for all that stuff. And so, and
That's
there's always
what
going to be
well,
different things. But as long as they learn how to play nice, I think the style itself will continue to grow and move forward. Um, it's just, and it's a different world now too. It's
yeah.
you think about
The world we live in now, you must have some type of training under your belt. You
doing now.
wherever the case may be, you must have some type of training under your belt, because the world we're living in now, these people out here is not playing. They're about
No,
business.
it's a lot crazier now, and I think part of it's due to social media and different things. We can get into all that later on. That'd be like a whole separate video, a
Right,
whole
right, right,
separate
right,
interview.
right. Right, right.
It's
I mean,
it's interesting,
but I
but
mean, we got to think about reality, though. Saying me and you as men, we go outside these doors every day to go train,
right,
and you don't know who's on the side right here waiting on you to come outside, or who's been watching you and say, "Oh, I know he trains," or "I know where he trained at." You don't know who's watching, so you got to be
right,
ready at
yeah,
all
yeah,
times.
absolutely.
Get ready,
You
but
gotta be
be ready.
you gotta be more aware now. Like back when we were kids, we had to deal with bullying that was just face to face. And now with technology, you have to deal with bullying. The kids have to deal with bullying not only face to face, but they also have the internet, cyberbullying crap
Right,
that they got to deal with. And this is like a whole nother level of, dang, man. Like, I would not want to deal with that. I mean, what we had to deal with back then was bad enough, but now you got this another layer, and it's like how as teachers do we address that, and how do we, fight that, and help our students fight this? How do they become smarter and more adapt? And it also is partnering with the parents. Like I know my students, a lot of the parents don't let their kids onto social media until much later, and I think the ones that
right,
are on there sooner have more problems with it. And it's again it goes back to the way people's brains, the child development brain, how their brains work and as they're
right.
growing and whatnot. So there's a lot of good stuff with media, social media, and technology, and there's also the drawbacks of it. It's like I try to create a very low key environment where it's very calm and quiet and in here, except for just us training. And then,
Right.
you've got other schools that are blaring music and all this other stuff going on. They got slideshows and
Distraction.
whatnot. It's like they're already overstimulated as it is. So you
That's
want
what
to
I mean. I do agree. I do
create
agree.
a more chilled
You got to
out
remove that
environment
distraction.
for them. Now, like, my studio is there's a lot of visual distractions just in all the junk I've accumulated, but I've been in this location for 12 years. That happens.
See, that's good though because that gives the students to understand what you're presenting and what you represent. You see, because having weapons around, each student must know. For example, if you're going to use a weapon, you must know how to use a weapon, and you must know about that weapon you're
Right.
using. You just can't use a weapon without knowing that weapon. You know,
No, and
and
these are not decorations. I know some schools they just put it like, oh, this looks cool. Like, no, we actually use all of these tools, and so
right.
there's this training going on with them.
Well, same thing with us. We use all our tools too. Same thing with us. You know, we use everything in there, from the weapons to the bags to the flow
Right. Yeah.
to the bouncy thing. We use it all.
Right.
You know, anything we have in that shelf, we use.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate against nothing.
Yeah. I've got the different bags, of the punching bags, the training bags, the bobs, and I've got the
That's my
little
friend, Bob.
focus pad. Yeah, I love Bob. I use the filters on Bob all the time. I'm sure he hates me, but
You're right. Right, right. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, you know, I say, you know, from one Tangsoo practitioner to another one, you know what I'm saying? This has been an awesome day, you know, to get to know who you are as an instructor as well as a master instructor and get to know who you are as a whole, you know, and
No,
let the world know that, you know, Tangsoo is still here and we still
yeah,
represent Tangsoo and it's not washed away. You
no,
know,
no,
like
we're not going
most
anywhere. We're not
washed
going
away.
anywhere.
You know? Most martial arts just went down the drain. You know, it's not even they don't even teach you real martial arts no more.
Yeah,
At least that I
yeah,
know of.
yeah.
I
They're
haven't.
harder to find good instructors out there, and that's why I cross train because I want to know what else is out there and what's still trying to move forward and stay relevant and stay better and all that stuff. And how can I utilize that for Tangsoo or their teaching methodologies? What are they may be teaching the same thing, but how are they teaching it? How is it being communicated across? And what can I use from that? Kind of thing. It's like, ooh, that's really good. I'm going to use that. Just
Right. That's like when some people do sipsu. You know, they do the out to in crescent. You know, where some just go here, here. You know, some go
yeah,
here, do the out to in crescent kick at the same time. You know. So everybody does this a little different, you know.
right,
I noticed because I a lot of Tangsoo videos where they here do this different. They here somewhat similar to this one. It's just a different one. Theirs somewhat similar to this one, just a different one. Theirs is different, similar, but it's all similar, just different techniques.
right. Or a different perspective on it too.
Right, right. I get it. I get it. You know, I get it. I mean, what can you say? Tonsils in my blood. This is where I wear this midnight blue.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, like I say, a lot of people would love to be here right now, but a lot of people don't want to get beat up by other kids. They don't want to get beat up by a team. They don't want to
Right.
get beat up by an adult. You got to take your chance somewhere. So if a
Well,
person in real life come up to you and hit you, what you gonna do?
yeah.
Run? You can't run.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of crazy adults out there more and more. So you gotta, definitely need to start training more. That's the thing and I try to, when we're working with self-defense stuff is I'm not just grabbing the kids lightly. I'm making them work for it, work that technique.
Right.
I'm not hurting them, but they are not getting out of that easy. So they got to be thinking about the mechanics. They got to be thinking. I'm like,
Get
well,
you prepared.
what are you doing? Are you putting your hand in the right position? Are you in a good stance? Are you using your hips? Are you, get them to think of like, because it's a weight difference. You know, as an adult versus a child, they got 50 pounds and that's it. They got to utilize every ounce of that 50 pounds against,
Right.
you know, a grown adult, and how to focus that. You know, that's one of those challenges too. Is
That's funny you say
being,
that, because I was watching a video not so long ago where a dad was putting the son and daughter into a trunk, and the trunk has like these buttons on the inside of the trunk, but it's like buttons to push
yeah,
like that way, like.
the
So
release.
he was telling them, right, you get locked in here in the
What you
2000
do,
vehicles. This is what you do: push that
right?
button, it'll pop right open. So I posted that video on my site, on my social media site,
Mhm.
so people could see that.
Yeah, I
Because a
think I
lot of
saw
us
that.
is
I
not
think I'm pretty sure I saw that one. I liked it.
right. A lot of people, parents, is not teaching their kids that. You know, you're teaching their kids how to run, but what happens if they really get caught and
Yeah.
then they have no
Then what?
escape plan?
Then what? Exactly.
No escape plan because you ain't taught them nothing. You taught them
Right.
how to just run. But
Yeah.
where's the escape plan if they happen to get caught?
Exactly.
So, like us, we teach our students that, you know, how to get away or what to do if somebody bigger than you come up to you and try to get a hold to you. We teach them what to do. But as far as parents
Yeah.
wise,
Right.
your kids in the back of a trunk, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah. Exactly.
What are
How do
you
they get
teaching them?
that
Or somebody
safely?
grab them by the hand and pull them. What did you teach them how to get away? How are they supposed to get away? Scream? Scream is
Right.
not going to help. I mean, yeah, for a certain amount of time, but after a while, it's going to stop. And people don't, you know, parents not teaching their kids this, you know. They're not teaching their kids the real reality of how to really escape if something happened to you like that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, you got kids out here running around doing this, doing that, but in reality, people out here is watching you. That's why my teacher, my son Benham always says, she said, you know what? You have to use your martial arts wisely.
Absolutely.
Because everybody carries a, everybody's recording something.
Oh
If you
yeah.
do
That's
something stupid, you will be on CCTV, which
yeah.
is true.
You don't want to be on that end of it. No.
But a lot of martial artists has violated the code of conduct
Oh
in
my God.
doing
Yeah.
basketball scores.
Yeah.
But with that being
That's
said,
that's the thing is, as I was coming up through Tangsoo, I learned a lot of what to do, and I learned a lot of what not to do
yeah,
as teachers. I'm like, I
right.
see instructors and be like, yeah, that I'm not gonna be like that guy ever, because you know
Right.
those guys, you know those guys out there. Like you're just like, no, don't be that guy.
Because in reality, 99% of the fights could be avoided just walking away.
Yeah,
But see, people,
de-escalation. That's the thing is,
right, when the fight escalates, that means you're engaging. And when you engage the fight, guess what? The fight escalates. Now, there's no control in the fight now because you don't escalate
no,
the fight when you just walked
and
away.
the longer you're in it, the more dangerous it becomes too. And I don't think a lot of people really get that. It's just like, yeah, when it escalates, it escalates. Like, growing up, I've
A lot of
been in
people
those
like the
situations.
attention.
It's just,
People
yeah, you don't want
love the
to,
attention.
yeah, you don't
No,
want to get out of hand. No, you
bringing
never know.
attention is crazy. For what reason?
Yeah,
You put yourself in more harm's way.
and a lot of fights are stupid fights. You're just like, what? Oh, okay.
I be watching
I
something
was like,
called
that
Fight
could have been
Club on Twitter.
avoided.
Right. I mean, you know, uh, Twitter has this thing called Fight Clubs. I don't know if you ever seen it before,
No,
where they show different types of fight. I'm looking like, man, you can't be serious.
I
This can't be true.
I don't even go on Twitter much anymore. I just like repost stuff to it, but I don't go look on it. That thing is such a mess. I'm just waiting
I
for
mean,
it.
I don't go on it.
But yeah,
I repost stuff, but when I
it's
repost,
not
it's
surprising
right
though. There
there.
is something like that
It's
on
right
there.
there.
So
Right. I mean,
it's
it's right there. I mean, I never miss it right there. Just on Instagram, I can post some martial arts stuff, and then whatever is in the martial arts category, it'll come up.
right.
And like you say, I repost. you know, and reposting it is like a different thing. We show people different avenues or different martial arts wise. Like us, we don't get on social media and demonstrate stuff on social media, where to us, we're breaking the code of silence, where I will repost certain martial arts videos to let you know that this is what could possibly happen if you're not paying attention.
Sure.
You know, so, but yeah, you know, I mean, most true practitioners going to understand. A lot of people going to say, you know what, I disagree with you.
And that's their right to do that. Whatever, you know, it's just just don't be a jerk about it. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
We
It's
can
okay to
just
say
disagree on all kinds of stuff, but I'm not going to be rude about it.
right, right. That's cool, man. I really enjoyed talking with you
Yeah,
tonight, and this has been
man,
an
it's a
awesome
lot of
night.
fun.
Hopefully we will again, and this will be great. I'm gonna send you the footage.
Okay, cool. We'll chop it up, send it
And
out.
right, students, our students get a chance to see it and get the chance to, you know, look at it, and then see what we brought to the table for everybody else to understand and see.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I saw you reached out, and I was like, oh, cool. I looked at your account. I was like, oh man, he's got a big account. I
Yeah,
was like, this will be fun.
we want to keep the Tangsoo in, you know, in a circle. You know what I mean? We don't want to break the circle. It's like all Tangsoo practitioner, and you bring in somebody outside of Tangsoo who doesn't know Tangsoo. You ain't got no business in the circle unless you joining Tangsoo, you know. So this is what we're trying to do: bring Tangsoo together as a team, as a whole. We're all family. We say the same thing. So you know, just bring it here. This is where we at. Right, growing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's awesome, and I must say, Tangsoo, it's been great. It's been an enjoyable night. I have fun with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I
Hopefully
saw
we
some
can
comments, but they were going by pretty fast. So I guess you go back and answer that stuff, or what? How do you do that?
Yeah, I can see him. I see him too, but I mean, I don't know how to do that part. I'm still working on it myself. You know, I see somebody say, "Hey,"
Yeah, I saw
and I
that. I
see
was
some other
like,
stuff.
that was quick. It went by fast. I was like, well, I didn't know what I could do with it, but like I've never. This is the first time I've done a live Instagram. So like I've done it on TikTok and YouTube, and I can answer all that real time and all that. Played around with it. Sometimes I miss them, but you know, you actually need like two people running it. Basically, somebody can catch the comments.
I had two guys from TikTok. One was a Japanese sensei, and the other one is a sensei as well. But they were supposed to come on with me, but one of them got kicked off of TikTok, so he's no longer on TikTok. That messed the whole interview up right there. I said, "How can you do that?" And I realized I know why he got kicked off, because he was talking reckless. And
See.
TikTok, no more.
Well, a
We
lot of
taking you
social
off of.
media does that too. If you're saying stupid stuff and doing stupid stuff, bye, off you go.
Yeah, because you would have people, for example, he would have people threaten him. I can beat you type thing. And he'll
Yeah.
call them out. Come on down. Let's do this. Let's do this. You're not supposed to do that.
No,
You
man.
know that.
No.
and,
Don't feed the
and
trolls.
TikTok,
Don't feed the
right?
trolls.
People like that talk stuff like that, I really don't pay no attention.
Nah,
There's
I
one,
ignore
right. You know, I mean, if you got some good opinions, or you might say, you know what, I disagree on certain
them.
things. This seem to fix this
If
argument. But
they
then we
have
started talking
constructive
trash.
criticism, sure, but they're just talking trash most of the time.
I just ignore them.
Yeah.
Because it's not working questions back, you know. But
No.
this guy here officially got taken off of TikTok. You
You
probably
gotta be
know him too.
you gotta be trying
You
hard to do
probably know
that.
him. He's been a lot. Yeah, I mean, me and him were supposed to do an interview 2 days after me and the other sensei supposed to do an interview.
Uh-huh.
The other sensei, he didn't do what he was supposed to do as far as sending me the paperwork back, as far as to fill out.
Yeah.
This guy here, the day before the interview breaks, he kicked off of TikTok. I searched his name up. He's nowhere to be found. I said, "Oh man, you can't be serious."
That's
I
messed
don't
up, man.
put your picture there. I don't tell everybody about you. Everybody looking forward to this interview. You nowhere to be found.
Well, there
It's
you
not
go.
good.
That's well, guess it
Right.
wasn't meant to be then.
Yeah. So, like I said, I had a great time. It's been wonderful. It's
Yes, sir.
been a
Appreciate
pleasant
it.
evening talking to you and telling the world about what's going on in Tangsoo Federation, how we can expand things and make things better for Tangsoo, and how we can bring people in and change the world by changing one person at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So with that being said, sir, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. One more time, give the people the information where they can come and see you at, and
Uh,
we're
Rockhold Karate. RockholdKarate.com is my website, and then uh, YouTube at Rockhold Karate there. TikTok is where I'm pretty active. Rockhold Karate there, and yeah, Facebook. I answer stuff on there as well. So it's a lot of stuff I post to TikTok, and then we repurpose to Instagram and Facebook, and then I do a lot of more of the how-to and breakdown stuff on YouTube, the longer format stuff on YouTube. So I'm always
right.
active on those, and I respond to questions as much as possible, and pretty quickly too. So if people are curious about
Absolutely.
things. But it's got to be legit stuff. I get scammers all the time too, so I'm just like dump, gone.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you, man.
So
It was a
everybody
lot of
can
fun.
follow. Absolutely. Everybody, you can follow me on TikTok at PKSADL Instagram, PKSADL John. You can also look me up on Cameo. That's Odell Johnson. So
All
that being
right.
said, sir, talk soon. It's been a great
All right.
night. Yes,
Appreciate it.
sir.
Ha- Have
See
a
you
good
next
one.
time. You
Take
too.
care.
You too.